Charlotte Hornets in chaos. LaMelo Ball on the move after a blockbuster deal that shocked the entire NBA world, as the Minnesota Timberwolves pull the trigger on a mega trade that could rewrite the future of the Western Conference.
So last night we all went to bed knowing that the Charlotte Hornets, they were listening to offers on LaMelo Ball. And then this morning, the star guard was traded, and that is where we start our show. Shams Charania reporting that Ball, Josh Green are headed to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Naz Reid, a 2033 unprotected first-round pick, 3 first-round pick swaps, 2030, 2029, 2028, and 3 second-round picks as well.
He was a very wanted man. His value has been at its peak going into this offseason. He had a strong finish to the year for the Hornets. Him and the Hornets seemed like they were in a great place. And suddenly, in the last couple weeks, 3 teams came and made rich offers to the Hornets: Minnesota, Toronto, and Portland. And the Hornets never came into the offseason wanting to shop LaMelo Ball, but the price kept going up, and they felt if a team met their threshold, they would not be afraid to move him. And that's what Minnesota and Tim Connolly, the president of basketball operations, he is no stranger to making these types of moves, these gunslinging moves. That's the term that I hear throughout the NBA today, is that Tim Connolly is a gunslinger because of moves like this. Rudy Gobert several years ago, that was looked at as a move. They gave up all these draft picks, and they do the same here. Naz Reid, a very good two-way big, unprotected first-round pick that's far out, that's valuable, 3 pick swaps, 3 second-round picks.
I would be.
Him and Anthony Edwards have had contact. They're friends. And he knows the task at hand now to try to lead this team with Anthony Edwards to a championship.
Ant needed some help. It was so clear at the end of the season.
And specifically a point guard. How many times were we texting and we would say they need a point guard on this team?
We saw so many times this year where Ant was going uphill facing double teams.
Right.
It was the standard. That's where the game plan started. We're going to double team Ant 25 times.
Frustrating.
Okay? And so this is a way to free him. This is such a welcome sight. And look, I don't know where this situation was going. When soon as Giannis got traded, the people in the league who track these things said, put Ant on the watch list because of the way this season ended. Then the Wolves make the deal the other day where they appeared to salary dump Julius Randle. It's like, oh man, now ownership's pulling back on spending.
Well, that's why Bobby's saying there's always a part A, part B, part C to a trade.
It was a flashing orange light, and it ended up being a green light because to get this player, you double team Ant Edwards now with LaMelo Ball on the court, you are all kinds of in trouble because he is not afraid to shoot from anywhere. He is not afraid, and he will throw the ball. He will push the ball up in transition. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, I don't know if LaMelo is going to stay healthy, but this is a terrific, aggressive move that will open up the floor for them.
I like it a lot. I think that LaMelo Ball does as good as anybody.
Were you surprised at all?
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing this after the defense had to do a rotation. You telling me you're going to now rotate? You can't rotate off Anthony Edwards. So who's going to deal with all of these rotations? How are you going to do it? Are you going to have a long rotation where you have to go back to the corner on the opposite
There's
side?
no questions here on the offensive end. On the offensive end, there is no questions.
And I love that you said that because defensively now, Rudy Gobert, step up. Now you get to show that you are the man because I remember being in New York and feeling like, yeah, I can guard people. I can do this. I can do that. But there's nothing better than having a Tyson Chandler behind you and say, hey, no, you by yourself. Now we over here. You made a mistake. He blew by you. That's cool. I can erase the mistake.
Yeah.
I don't think LaMelo Ball's ever had that. That'll make you play harder on defense. You'll have a little bit more in the tank to say, hey, I got an extra power slide I can do before I just let you get away.
Not to mention Gobert, he loves that little short roll and who's going to be setting him up at this point, right, Bobby?
72 games last year in Charlotte, second most in his career.
But I know internally in Minnesota, they really feel like LaMelo Ball is going to come in and take advantage of having Jaden McDaniels on the wing and Rudy Gobert at center. They love, you said his name, Joan Behringer. They love this kid. He's going to get a larger role next season. And when they dumped Julius Randle the other day to the Brooklyn Nets, there was a lot of chatter about Minnesota's ownership around the league.
And so when the value is high, Charlotte decided, you know what, we are going to take this leap because ultimately, at the end of the day, LaMelo Ball was the most available that we have seen him. They prioritized making him healthy when it mattered the most, and they weren't quite able to get over the hump. So we'll see how Chef Jeff in the front office continues to try to build this roster.
Back to NBA Today.
Yeah.
So trade season has opened this week. Shams just took a deep breath. It started off with a blockbuster trade, right?
What does Jaylen Brown feel about that eventually? If this gets to a mid-July or a late July, that is a question we don't have answered yet.
Yeah, and that's when the urgency maybe could change for Jaylen Brown after we hear from him. All right, we've been talking about Austin Reeves. Let's talk about it a little bit more officially because Shams, you reported that he intends to sign a $185 million max deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. By the way, that's the biggest contract in NBA history for an undrafted player, which is awesome. And you can see why. I know our bar's covering him a little bit, but this is his reaction when he found out on the golf course, because you should. That's generational wealth. And Reeves was set to be an unrestricted free agent. So, okay, one box is checked for the Lakers. But, Dave, there's still a lot of questions, particularly because you reported that this has sort of been the summer that's been promised to Luka, that they're going to go out and get a big man.
Yeah, I mean, Luka Doncic, source close to him told me that his feedback to Lakers front office before he went away for the summer was, get me an A-list center. And I need that to compete. And Luka's camp was also told when they were traded from Dallas to L.A. that it's the summer of 26. Wait till the summer of 2026. Then we're going to show you what we mean for the future and your future as a face of our franchise. Thus far, people would say, I think it was a pretty good draft night. You got Cameron Carr dropping in the draft, and obviously you re-signed Austin, and Luka made it clear he wants to keep playing with Austin Reeves.
Right.
But there's so much work to be done with this roster, starting with the center position. And we don't know if DeAndre Ayton's going to opt in to his deal. And if he does, if the feedback is get me an A-list center, and Ayton was already on the team last year, if he opts in, that means Rob Pelinka needs to find a trade partner for Ayton.
Okay, so let's take a look at maybe some of who those notable free agents could be that the Lakers have the ability to sign. Bobby, who's out there?
Well, right now we have Mitchell Robinson and Robert Williams out there. We don't have Walker Kessler and Jalen Duren on this board because they're restricted free agents here. And the likelihood is that both their teams, Utah and Detroit, would match an offer sheet. Size. I don't know. They're good players. A-list centers. Does that fall into that category? Some shooting when you look at Landry Shamet and Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
I think, Malika, the biggest question is going to be LeBron, though. Because what will happen here is $50 million in cap space. What happens if the LeBron James decision goes into the first week of July, and all these free agents, the four of them, are off the board?
Howdy, Malika. Look, as Bobby laid out, there's not a lot of wiggle room financially with them being hard cap now to fill out the rest of the roster. They do have a glaring hole at power forward. It's kind of a whack-a-mole situation. You fill the glaring need at point guard, you hope with the star, and boom, you've got a need at power forward with Julius Randle gone, with Nas Reed gone. There was a Wolves source put it to me, we went from 48 minutes of outstanding power forward play to 0. Now, they likely bumped Jaden McDaniels up. He'll probably play a lot of the 4, playing with 3 guards, maybe even in that starting lineup. And then they hope to find some help with the 4, kind of in the bargain bins of free agency. But again, they don't have a lot of flexibility, a lot of spending power to fill out the rest of this roster, despite the fact there is a clear-cut need.
When he draft. And what do you think?
I definitely think it's Minnesota. Minnesota, I'm basically only on winning. I look at winning. Charlotte, you're going to have some time that's going to happen. With Minnesota, they were in a situation where it's like, y'all need to move the needle or else things are going to start shifting around.
That's right. Exactly right.
They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They went and got a playmaker, but they went and got a guy that can break up that double team that's coming to Ant-Man. I don't know why he has such an issue with it. I think he needs to learn to accept it a little bit.
Last night, Charlotte slept with rumors. This morning, the NBA woke up to a detonation. LaMelo Ball is gone. Not traded, but swept out of Charlotte in a move that blindsided the entire league. A franchise cornerstone erased in seconds. And what comes next feels less like a trade and more like a power shift. And the details, they are absolutely explosive. Charlotte sends LaMelo Ball and Josh Green to Minnesota. In return, Nas Reed and a war chest of assets. A 2033 unprotected first-round pick, 3 pick swaps in 2028, 2029, 2030, and 3 additional second-round picks. This isn't a trade. This is a gamble on the future of 2 franchises. But Minnesota didn't do this for the future. They did it for now. Tim Connolly strikes again. The gunslinger label, it fits. Anthony Edwards needed help. Everyone saw it. Double teams, pressure, collapse after collapse in the playoffs. Now, LaMelo Ball enters the storm, a playmaker who refuses to slow down. But here's the controversy. Can two ultra-aggressive stars really coexist without breaking the system? And while Minnesota rises, the West is already reacting. Defenses now face an impossible question. Who do you even rotate to first, Edwards or Ball?
Inside Charlotte, it's collapse and reset. Inside Minnesota, it's championship or bust.
And across the league, teams are watching closely because this move just redrew the entire NBA power map. One trade, 3 franchises shaken, and a Western Conference that may never be the same again.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.